Hey, and welcome to this next edition of Deep Life Talk with Guro Grok. I just want to remind you that our promise is that this channel will always be full of highly valuable content for you to improve your life, to improve as a man, to become more attractive to others, to gain success in life. As you sharpen yourself mentally, physically, spiritually, you will have much more success in life. And that's our promise to you. Our channel is definitely all stuff, no fluff. And so I just want to let you know that that's what we promise to you here. Our mission is to improve ourselves and help others to do the same. On this idea of substance over fluff, of stuff over fluff, I'm reminded of a story from when I was in high school, and it's kind of crazy. Here in LA, we have a chain of restaurants called Tommy's, and it's kind of a famous chili burger place. And when I was a senior in high school, I got myself into a little scrap. There was some girls with us at this place. We were out late, must have been 11, 12 o'clock at night. And there was this guy, and he was apparently a little bit drunk, and he was from the crosstown rival high school, Burbank High. And he had said a few things really insulting to the girls. And I, sort of defending their honor, being a little bit of an egotist, a little bit foolish, I said something to him, and so we started exchanging some heavy words. And we ended up in a pretty heavy fight. I started with the first heavy punch and knocked him off this little brick wall, and he went onto the ground. But the lesson that stuff is more important than fluff, and that substance is more important than style, is this. I had two of my friends there with me. There were three friends with me, but two of them, Bobby and Todd, they immediately stood up to back me in this fight. But the fluff boy, his name was Mike, he moved his car because we were fighting right near his car. So what does he do? He starts up his car and drives it to the other side of the parking lot. Meanwhile, the men of stuff, the men of substance, and that's who you want to go into battle with, men of substance, they were right there backing me. So this fight was pretty heavy, lasted a couple of minutes, but I beat the poop out of this dude. Anyway, the life lesson is just that you want to go into battle with men of substance, men of stuff, and push the fluff out of your life. So that's a sort of general mentality of this channel, is life lessons, and that's an example of that. Another one might be that form should follow function. I first learned this sort of eye-openingly when my martial arts teacher, Casimir Magda, and I remind you that I'm in the lineage of Bruce Lee, Daniel Inosanto, Casimir Magda, me. He was talking about this idea that form should follow function, that function is the most important thing. And he gave the example of throwing a sidekick in a fight. And he said that if you throw a sidekick and it knocks your opponent, your enemy there, through the plate glass window behind him, well, that's a pretty good sidekick, even if it was ugly, right? Even if it's some butt ugly sidekick that doesn't look right, and some karate man would look at that and go, yuck. If it threw the guy through the plate glass window, that's a good thing in a fight, and that's that the function was more important than the form. And certainly over time, you're going to sharpen that up, right? Because the form is what makes the function even better in time, but it must follow. Another critical lesson there. So that's what our channel's like, and we promise always super valuable content for you to grow yourself as a man, for you to turn your libido into this thing that just drives you to excellence, to creativity, to personal growth, to becoming a successful man, healthy, wealthy, wise, attracting the best things in life, attracting the best people in life, attracting beautiful women into your life. That's what you're always going to get here. So please like and subscribe so that we can continue to bring you excellent content as often as we can. We're hoping to post a couple of times a week. So another thing I wanted to talk about, really important, and it's kind of going on right now, is the prompt engineering thing because of the large language models, the AI. A perfect example would be ChatGPT. And one thing you're not going to hear talked about is this, that one way that's really broadly going to help you to get better at that is just to be well read. My own interactions with ChatGPT have been breathtaking to me, and it's because of the words that I can use and because of the thoughts that I can put in there to prompt the AI to spit out some amazing things. I will have these ongoing conversations and continue to prompt it with key adjectives, with having it take on certain roles. And some of these details are the things that you can find in people teaching what they call prompt engineering. But just more broadly and with greater application to life is to become well-read. That is certainly one of the key messages from Deep Life Talk with Guro Grok, is to become an exceptionally well-read man. Not that I'm super exceptionally well read, but I've read a couple of thousand books, each one of them edifying me, whether it's fiction. I've read some, literature more than just some bullcrap pot boilers, but some of the great literature has been mind-blowing to me. I remember I wept when I was reading, it was Dostoevsky's Crime and Punishment, and then I read Tolstoy's War and Peace, and it's breathtaking. So to be well read can certainly include fiction, but also you're going to read lots of nonfiction books as well that will change your life. There's plenty of that out there too. So regarding becoming good at prompting the AIs, as you become more well read, as you become better with the English language, or any languages for that matter, you will get better at prompting. And that's just not something that's discussed out there. They're all trying to teach you some real specific things like one-shot and multi-shot prompting and things like that. All valuable as well, but just to be well read has such great application to life in general, for staying sharp, for outthinking your opponents, your enemies, people in general, for you to become a surpassingly capable man. Yeah, so I want to address another really important topic here, and that's this whole thing about no fap. And you can find that out there everywhere. It's funny because I didn't even know what fap meant some time back, and it's just a sort of term meaning masturbation, of course. And specifically, I think masturbation to porn is my understanding about the fap thing. But the no fap idea, there's just lots of people out there talking out of their butts, so to speak, without understanding. Your sex drive is totally natural and a sign of health if you have a strong sex drive as a male. I mean, your testicles are doing what they're supposed to be doing. So the no fap advice is not reasonable. Instead, what you want is to not be dominated by your urges. You don't want to be dominated by hunger and I gotta eat. You don't want to be dominated by your sexual drive and then harm people. That's where this idea of toxic masculinity comes from, of course, from Me Too and men with their sexual urges driving them rather than mastering your sexual urges. You want to be master of sex rather than mastered by sex, right? This is good thinking, and this is deep thinking, and this is the kind of thinking that will make you a much better person. A beast, a mindless beast of the earth is dominated just by his urges. That's what they do. They just pee and poo and eat and have sex and do their thing and procreate and breed. But we're human beings with a mind, critical faculties, ability to grow, ability to respond, ability to not respond to something. So your mind is critical, and you must have the ability to dominate your urges, whether it's, again, hunger. If you can't fast for a short period of time even, you have to ask yourself whether you're a man or a mouse. And to go days without masturbating should not be difficult. Now, not too many days necessarily, but the idea of the no fap for long periods of time is not realistic. Better that you turn your masturbation into a disciplined practice. And then, of course, if you have sex partners, same kind of thing. You want to be able to go for hours pleasuring a woman without coming yourself, and that delayed gratification and that delayed orgasm will then build to a much more massive, much more pleasurable orgasm. I speak from experience there. So I remember actually my own life when I was kind of first fell in love, kind of what I thought was a serious thing, and the woman became my first wife, and she was a 10 all the way. I mean, I was on this kick sort of thinking I was a Christian, and I didn't masturbate for like 7 months at age 21. I don't even know how now. I remember the whole blue balls experience of like, oh my gosh. But that wasn't healthy. Instead, to have a disciplined practice about such things is much better and the way to go for sure. And more on that in the future. But just, I want to encourage you that the no fap thing is just silly. You got a lot of dipshits out there talking about things that they just don't have much understanding about. And to get understanding in life is a powerful thing. Proverbs 4:7, written by master sex magus himself, King Solomon of ancient Israel, it says, wisdom is the principal thing. Therefore, get wisdom, and in all you're getting, get understanding. That's game changer for life. As you begin to understand things in life, you will become this well-rounded person who really becomes successful in life because you just are able to, you just get it. And that kind of thing comes from seeking wisdom, comes from being well-read, comes from walking with other men who seek these kinds of things, who seek to be wise, who seek success, who aren't wasting their time, who aren't slave to their urges. So that's the encouragement, is just to seek to understand. Powerful stuff there. Just a word on King Solomon. The guy had 1,000 wives, and he's regarded in the Western canon as, one of the richest, wealthiest men of all time. He wrote the book of Proverbs, Ecclesiastes, some other things, parts of the Psalms, I think. And without spiritualizing those things too much, if you look at the book of Proverbs, it's just like this awesome book of wisdom, some really amazing things in there just for practically working your way through life, dealing with people, dealing with your own inner turmoils and things, and even health, things like that. So a pretty remarkable book that he wrote there, Proverbs, and it's chock full of stuff to change your life. One of my other favorites, I think it's Proverbs 17:7, I'm not positive, but it goes, as iron sharpens iron, so one man sharpens another. And what an awesome proverb there, that as you walk with men who seek to grow, you will find that they sharpen you with their good thoughts. And we definitely invite correction on this channel. We want to hear from you in the comments. We want to hear from you. You can email us. We want to know if we're wrong. Now, all trolls can suck it, so we're not looking for people to just tear us down. But to edify someone is one of the best things that you can do in this life, by saying, hey, maybe try this, or did you guys miss something here? And to edify someone is to build them up. That's where that word comes from. Edification, education, these things all come from the idea of building something. And so we definitely seek correction. I mean, we don't claim any kind of perfection. We don't claim to be, without error. We don't claim to have the keys to the kingdom and the keys to knowledge and things like that. But we seek it every day. And as such, our mentality is to be humble, and that is to say, what do you know about this? You're the expert in some things. That's another critical issue, is that you need to know when to seek the expertise of the specialist. Our message is definitely that broadly you want to be super well-rounded kind of a person. That's been my mentality for a long time. I consider myself extremely well-rounded. I can read and write 7 languages now. I play harmonica and guitar, but not middlingly so. My chess game doesn't suck anymore. I'm very physically capable. Like I said, I come from a pretty serious line of street real martial arts stuff. Tons of construction skills, read thousands of books, have an artistic side that I've been expressing with origami and sketching and things like that. So this will make you keen, and keen, of course, is just a synonym for sharp, right? You want to be sharp. The sharper that you are as a man, the more success that you will find in life. You'll be great with your relationships. You'll be great at understanding entrepreneurship and how to create wealth in your life. You'll be great at taking care of yourself, taking care of your temple. That's our metaphor, of course, and not just ours, but a metaphor for the body, right? That it's your temple wherein you live, whether you're a warrior or a priest or just a regular dude, or it's sort of a spiritual metaphor that you as a person dwell in this physical temple here. And so care for it. You'll learn to care for it better. And you'll get to the point where care of the body becomes just a routine thing. I have visible abs and dense bones and plenty of muscle tissue, and I move with power and efficiency, economy of motion, things I play tons of sports. But I spend virtually zero time worrying about that or thinking about that. I have abs by accident. I've never pursued the having of abs, but to get low body fat is, once you understand that and how to eat, then it's that's just being healthy. That's just really straightforward stuff. So we'll have lots more, of course, on all of these kinds of concepts about fitness, diet, health, training, of course, more specifics. But broadly, seek to understand and seek to be corrected. It's Proverbs 12:1 that I think it goes, whoever loves instruction loves knowledge, but he who hates correction is stupid. And that's, I think, New King James translation of that. But here's Solomon sort of laying it out kind of, abruptly, right? Saying, don't be stupid. So that's definitely one of our mottos. Don't be stupid. I don't want to be stupid. I seek correction. If you can help me grow, share, please. Be a giver, be a sharer, and not be a taker. That's another message here. We don't seek to take. We seek to give and to share, and with open minds and open hearts, to be excellent human beings. That's kind of our goal. So another thing I just want to share here is this is just the brilliance of Ali Abdaal, and if you've spent a lot of time on YouTube, you've probably come across this guy. And here's a quote from him. He says that the single best thing that he has ever done in his life is to start a YouTube channel. That's just such an awesome quote to me. The single best thing the guy's ever done in his life, he's got to be in his 30s by now, but he started his YouTube channel some time ago when he was a medical student, and so powerful has his YouTube experience and his channel been that he stopped being a doctor. That's a pretty remarkable thought in itself, that you get through medical school and you get your credentials and you're a doctor, you're awarded the degree of doctor, medical doctor, and he says, no, I'm going to focus on YouTube, on sharing content with the world, on making the world a better place. And that's what he's done. And he's the one who encouraged me when I was watching some of his videos to just get a video up. And I was like, That's great advice. Just get over yourself. There's this thing called imposter syndrome where you're worried that what am I doing? Who am I? I don't have anything to share with the world. And that's just nonsense. Everybody, I mean, maybe not a 5-year-old, maybe not a 12-year-old has much to share, but if you're in your 20s, 30s, 40s, 50s, start a YouTube channel and share who you are and share your message and share what you've learned and what you know and what you can teach and what you can do and any encouragement with the world. So all props to Ali Abdaal. He's a guy I hope to meet someday and maybe interview on this channel. But his advice to go for it was fabulous advice. So got to give him props there. And then, so now your response, I hope, is to like and subscribe for me. Right down there at the bottom here. Give me a like and subscribe so that I can continue to share fabulous content with you, because I seek to encourage you to grow. I seek to share fabulous nuggets of wisdom all the time, funny stories. I've lived a life that's pretty remarkable. I have tons of stories to tell you about when I was in prison. A quick word on that. I spent 14 years in prison for a crime I didn't commit. Now, it's not a mistaken identity kind of a thing. It's not like that. It's just that I was found guilty of a crime that just wasn't what happened at all. So, and there'll be more on that in the future, as well as crazy stories from the world of prison, because that place can be jumping. There's GP, which is General Pop, and then you've got all the heavy politics, and then there's a side in the CDCR called SNY for sensitive needs. And that situation there is completely different. Now you're sort of every man for himself, but then you get some serious whack jobs there that have nothing kind of keeping them in check. So both sides can be crazy, and I will tell you stories that you wouldn't believe. So anyway, I just want to again remind you, please like and subscribe so I can continue to make this happen, and the YouTube algorithm, which is something I'm still learning about. This is literally my second video here, and I just took Ali Abdaal's advice. I got a phone and a mic, and those were cheap things. I'm starting on the cheap. I'm not a man of great means right now because of what happened to me with going to prison for 14 years. But what you're going to see happen here is you're going to see my own personal growth, which is certainly going to include wealth, getting my health back, all these kinds of things, and making great things happen in my life through diligence. Another word from Solomon there, master sex magus, King Solomon of Israel, is that diligence. He calls diligence man's precious possession. That's the kind of thing that can't be taken from you, because diligence is just you just have to decide to be willing to work hard, to go for it, to be diligent, to be disciplined, to get up every day with a mindset of I'm going to make some good things happen, to be super productive. It's yours for the taking. So always at the end, we just sort of have a bonus. We try to cover at least 7 points and then a bonus here. And the bonus today is just self-mastery, just this concept. If you just meditate on this idea of what would it be to be master of self, you're going to come across this thought that like just mastering your thinking and how difficult that is, and what a great goal that is. Imagine this. You'll hear this out there a lot, like I don't judge. But that's nonsense. We're moral beings. We're human beings, and we judge all the time. We may not voice it, but always in our minds, someone says something, and we react to that. We judge that. We decide whether that's a good thought or that's a bad thought. Or we reject it or we embrace it, and we decide who to hang out with and who to shun. We decide who to love and who to hate, who to like and who to dislike. We're moral beings that judge, and it may not be that we're trying to make some absolute final judgments. Oh, that guy, he's going to go to hell, or he's going to go to heaven, or some kind of spiritualizing it and turning it into some metaphysics thing. But we judge all the time. And so imagine mastering yourself so much, and this is a perfect climate to think about these things because of this great political divide here in the US. Imagine that someone that is totally on the other side of the political spectrum from you says something, and imagine that instead of any sort of knee-jerk reaction, knee-jerk thought, because many people can control their tongue, but before you even have that knee-jerk thought of, imagine that you just ponder, you just hear what they have to say, and you just go, I'm going to think about that, just in your own spirit. Mastering yourself that much is the goal. Of course, other ways too, where you're not, again, slave to your bodily urges and things like that. That's back to the the Me Too and the toxic masculinity stuff. You got to reject the concept generally of toxic masculinity, in this sense that masculinity in itself is not in any way toxic any more than femininity is toxic in itself, right? It's what happens when someone's masculinity, that sex drive, that urge, that testosterone fueled violence and too much yang mentality and too much yang energy gets out of control. I mean, I myself, I'm like 99.99% yang energy. I've been meditating on this concept for a very long time, but there's just no toxicity in me. I've gotten rid of all of that. I mean, prison, in some ways, 14 years there was the best thing that happened to me for serious self-examination, and I'm a man of true goodwill. I don't want to hurt anybody. And so you got to reject this idea that masculinity is toxic in itself, and instead take that libido, that sex drive, and channel it into the best of being a human being, which is become a man of goodwill, a giver, not a taker. And in the context of like even attracting women and being a lover, I mean, isn't that a noble thing, to be a man who cares about his partner's satisfaction and joy and pleasure in all of it? And that's another excellent form of self-mastery. And I don't want to sound like I'm boasting here, but I have certainly become that sort of man who is greatly concerned to satisfy a woman for a long time, a very long time. And yeah, I got plenty of funny stories on that coming here in the future. But self-mastery, if you can even just master your tongue and get some mastery over what comes out of your mouth. Solomon also wrote, I think it's Solomon, it might be somewhere else in the Psalms or something, set a guard, O Lord, over my mouth. Keep watch over the door of my lips, something like that, just because stuff can just slip out. And then you end up hurting people with your words, and it can be very toxic. So if you can master yourself, that's the overall message of Deep Life Talk with Guro Grok, that through self-mastery, you will have personal growth beyond belief. You will have life success beyond belief. You know, powers that be willing. You don't control the traffic. You don't control the weather. You know, we could die today. Any one of us could have a horrible accident. So we're not talking about that. We're talking about the things that you do control. Learn to master yourself, and you will become an exceptional human being indeed. One more time, please hit like and subscribe so we can figure out the YouTube algorithm and get some more people sharing with us and being edified by us. And as always, we salute you. We wish you, as scholar and as warrior, we wish you strength and health, wisdom and wealth. To you.